Poker isn't just a card game. It's drama, strategy, and pure adrenaline. Today we're diving into the 10 best poker movies ever made, where every bluff, every showdown, and every impossible hand pulls you deeper into the high-stakes world of the felt. Let's deal in. Rounders isn't just a poker movie, it's the poker movie. A gritty, atmospheric look into the world of underground card rooms, high-stakes risks, and the kind of players who live one hand away from disaster. Matt Damon stars as Mike McDermott, a gifted card shark torn between a straight life and the irresistible pull of the felt. What makes Rounders iconic is its authenticity. The film captures the psychology of poker, reading opponents, embracing variance, and knowing exactly when to push your luck. Edward Norton delivers a wildly charismatic performance as Worm, the unpredictable friend who drags Mike back into the shadows. And of course, John Malkovich's Teddy KGB steals every scene with his unforgettable cookie-crunching menace. More than a sports film, Rounders is a character study about obsession, loyalty, and the thrill of betting everything on yourself. Even today, pros still quote it, because it gets poker right. The danger, the addiction, and the magic of the perfect hand. Aaron Sorkin's Molly's Game is one of the most electrifying poker films ever made. Not because of the cards, but because of the woman running the table. Jessica Chastain delivers a razor-sharp performance as Molly Bloom, a former Olympic hopeful who reinvents herself as the mastermind behind the most exclusive high-stakes poker ring in Hollywood. The movie crackles with Sorkin's signature rapid-fire dialogue, turning every negotiation, betrayal, and courtroom confession into its own high-stakes showdown. Chastain plays Molly with fierce intelligence and simmering vulnerability, making her one of the most compelling real-life figures to ever hit the screen. Idris Elba brings grounding and heart as her lawyer, while the film pulls back the curtain on a world where power, ego, and money collide. Molly's Game isn't just a poker movie, it's a character study, a crime thriller, and a portrait of resilience, all reshuffled into one unforgettable hand. Casino Royale isn't just an action-packed reboot of James Bond. It's one of the most stylish and nerve-shredding poker films ever made. At the heart of the story is a high-stakes game in Montenegro, where Bond must outplay the cold, calculating Le Chiffre. What makes this poker sequence so iconic isn't just the money or the espionage. It's the psychological warfare unfolding across the table. Daniel Craig brings a fierce, razor-sharp intensity to Bond, turning every glance, pause, and chip movement into a subtle battle of wills. The film captures the elegance of classic Bond glamour, but grounds the poker scenes in real tension, letting the cards become weapons just as lethal as any gadget. And when Bond takes that unbelievable hit, only to return with an even bigger play, it becomes one of the most unforgettable moments in modern spy cinema. Casino Royale proves that poker isn't just a game of luck. It's a test of nerve, instinct, and identity. And in this film, it's where James Bond is truly reborn. When people talk about classic poker films, one title still sits at the top of the table: The Cincinnati Kid from 1965. This movie isn't just about cards, it's about pride, pressure, and the kind of high-stakes psychology that makes poker unforgettable. Steve McQueen delivers one of his coolest performances as the Kid, a rising gambler determined to prove he's the best. His showdown with Edward G. Robinson's legendary player, the Man, feels less like a card game and more like a duel. Tense, quiet, and razor-sharp. What makes the film iconic is how it strips poker down to pure human drama. Every glance, every hesitation, every chip placed on the table tells a story. It's a film that understands the thrill of risk and the cost of playing for keeps. If you want poker cinema at its most stylish and suspenseful, this classic still deals the winning hand. Guy Ritchie's Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels isn't just a crime classic. It's one of the wildest poker-driven spirals ever put on screen. The film kicks off with a high-stakes card game that goes spectacularly wrong when Eddie, the crew's smooth-handed card shark, walks straight into a trap set by a ruthless crime boss. One bad hand turns into a massive debt, and suddenly Eddie and his friends are pulled into a chaotic chain of schemes involving gangsters, thieves, and of course those two legendary antique shotguns. What makes this movie a standout poker film isn't the amount of time spent at the table. It's how one crooked game detonates the entire plot. It's stylish, frantic, and sharply edited, packed with Ritchie's signature British humor and electric energy. For poker fans, it's a reminder that sometimes the biggest gamble isn't the cards you play, but the people you play against. Lucky You deals the kind of poker drama that goes beyond the cards on the table. Set against the neon-soaked pulse of Las Vegas, the film follows Huck Cheever, a talented but self-destructive player who's constantly torn between instinct and discipline. As he tries to win a seat at the World Series of Poker, Huck is forced to confront the one opponent he spent years avoiding, his legendary father, played with quiet intensity by Robert Duvall. The movie blends high-stakes tension with a surprisingly emotional core, turning every hand into a moment of truth. While it's packed with authentic poker detail, Lucky You is ultimately a story about risk, redemption, and learning, when to hold on, and when to finally fold the past. Whether you love poker or just a good character-driven drama, this one has a seat reserved for you. Coming in hot on our list is The Grand, the 2007 improv-driven poker comedy that plays like a chaotic home game. If your friends were Woody Harrelson, Ray Romano, and Werner Herzog. Set around a high-stakes tournament in Las Vegas, the film follows Harrelson's character, a reckless gambler chasing redemption, and the massive prize that could save his failing casino. What makes The Grand stand out isn't just the cards. It's the unpredictable energy. Most scenes were improvised, so every reaction, every bluff, every meltdown feels authentic, messy, and hilariously human. The movie doesn't try to romanticize poker. Instead, it captures the wild personalities who sit at the table, from eccentric pros to delusional dreamers. The Grand is fun, loose, and full of surprises, much like poker itself. If you want a film that blends comedy with the thrill of the unknown, this one's a must-watch. The Card Counter as 2021 takes poker to a darker, more introspective place, and that's exactly what makes it one of the most fascinating entries in the genre. Paul Schrader's film follows William Tell, a former soldier turned professional gambler, who treats poker not as a thrill but as a ritual of control. The casino lights aren't glamorous here. They're a kind of purgatory where every hand feels like an echo of a past he's trying to bury. This isn't a movie about epic wins or dramatic all-ins. It's about discipline, guilt, and the cold precision of a man who counts cards the way others count sins. Oscar Isaac gives a restrained, magnetic performance, while the poker sequences are crafted with sharp, surgical tension. No flashy edits, just pure psychological pressure. The Card Counter stands out because it understands poker not only as a game of odds, but as a mirror of the human condition. It's haunting, deliberate, and quietly explosive. A slow burn that leaves you thinking long after the final hand is dealt. Maverick brings poker to the wild frontier with a charm few films can match. Mel Gibson stars as Brett Maverick, a smooth-talking gambler who'll do anything to enter a legendary high-stakes poker tournament. But this isn't just a card game. It's a full-blown adventure packed with cons, double crosses, and witty standoffs. Jodie Foster shines as the sharp, unpredictable Annabelle Bransford, and their chemistry turns every scene into a delightful duel. The poker sequences mix tension and comedy in a way that keeps viewers hooked, even if they've never touched a deck. Director Richard Donner leans in on old-school Western energy, delivering a film that's playful, stylish, and surprisingly clever. Maverick isn't just about winning the pot. It's about outsmarting everyone at the table while charming them at the same time. It remains one of the most entertaining poker films ever made. Deal might not be the biggest poker film ever made, but it delivers a surprisingly entertaining look at mentorship, ambition, and the high-stakes world of Texas Hold'em. The movie follows a retired poker legend who takes a gifted young player under his wing, dragging him into a world where skill matters, but ego can ruin everything. And this dynamic becomes the film's real jackpot. What makes Deal stand out is its blend of glossy WSOP fantasy with the gritty reality of what poker does to people, the obsession, the tilt, the thrill of reading a single twitch across the table. While the story leans into familiar beats, it still captures the rush of big tournaments and the seductive promise of sudden success. And yes, seeing Burt Reynolds as a weathered poker mentor adds charm you can't bluff your way into. Deal isn't about perfect strategy, it's about the psychology of the game. And that's exactly why poker fans still find it worth a watch. Poker is more than cards. It's risk, instinct, and stories worth betting on. From gritty thrillers to sharp comedies, these films show every side of the game. If you love the journey, hit like, subscribe, and let us know your favorite poker movie.